defense from Jadeja's point of view would be to get that ball up, draw them forward. Yeah, and one of our co-commentators, he'd never been the Nets for Chennai Super Kings, Australia. Matthew Hayden would be on that post surfing. That was his Nets days in between the IPL.
Beautiful guy. This shall we beat each other? Of course, you're thinking, haven't I? It feels like a long, long time ago.
Not to be that long. You don't have to stress on the long like that.
नवाचैन को और उनके साथ हुआ है। गेंद उन्होंने फील्ड किया, कुलदीप ने थ्रो किया, लेकिन इस दौरान काफी वक्त था। नवाचैन के बाद 2 रन मुकम्मल किए, तो इस तरह 100 रन मुकम्मल हुए हैं। ऑस्ट्रेलिया के 100 2 विकेट के नुकसान पर 24 ओवर और 1 गेंद के बाद इट्स रीजनेबली गुड गोइंग मेरे ख्याल में इन दी एंड।
तो कल श्रीलंकन टीम के साथ ये सोच रहे हैं कि अटैक किया जाए, उस मौके पर जडेजा आउट करने में कामयाब हुए। इस बार बैकफुट पे गए, स्क्वायर ऑफ द विकेट गेंद को निकाल दिया। फील्डर जब तक गेंद तक पहुंचे इस दौरान बासानी 1 रन बनाया, 112 पे 3।
थोड़ा सा फास्टिश बॉल करते हैं और जब वो इस तरह फास्टिश बॉल फेंकते हो, वो अगर स्पिन हो जाए तो वो खेलना बहुत ही मुश्किल होता है, क्योंकि उसने तो तेज किया होता है, तो वो विकेट से मट्टी उड़ी है और एक्सीलेंट लेंथ पे बॉल हुआ है और बड़ा आला बॉल किया है।
इस बात की कोई शक नहीं कि बड़ी खूबसूरत बॉल थी, जिसका सजाद ने कहा कि आइडलाइज करता है कि लेफ्ट आर्म स्पिनर इस तरह की गेंद कर पाए या करे। इस दौरान अगली गेंद फॉरवर्ड आई, गेंद को रोक कर खेले, कुछ साउंड लगता है कि हैं, क्योंकि हल्का सा अपील के लिए भी गए थे और अपील ने पूछा, लेकिन उनके साथियों ने कहा कि नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं। ओवर मुकम्मल, ऑस्ट्रेलिया 112 पे 3।
हमें क्रिकेट से उतना ही लगाव है जितना कि आपको है, इसीलिए हमें आईसीसी मेंस क्रिकेट वर्ल्ड कप 2023 के स्पॉन्सर होने पर फक्र है। फ्लाई एमिरेट्स, फ्लाई बेटर।
वो लम्हे जो कहीं खो से गए, चलो किसी बहाने से उन्हें फिर से ढूंढ के लाते हैं। कश्मीर कुकिंग ऑयल एंड बनास्पति, खाना तो बहाना है।
आईसीसी वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में देखते जाओ, कमाते जाओ, माइको लगाओ, डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
बड़ा शानदार ओवर रविंद्र जडेजा का, जिसमें उन्होंने विकेट हासिल की और राहुल द्रविड़ तो हम देख रहे हैं काफी सेटिस्फाइड हैं, जो कितने सीरियस रहते हैं, एक संजीदा करैक्टर हैं राहुल द्रविड़, और कैसे बंदा भूल सकता है उनकी खूबसूरत इनिंग्स 180 रन की जब ईडन गार्डन्स में उन्होंने मैच बचाया, और न सिर्फ मैच बचाया बल्कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया को हराया, जबकि इंडिया को फॉलो ऑन हो गया था और लक्ष्मण ने 281 रन बनाए थे उस तारीखी टेस्ट मैच में। उसके बाद ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने टीमों को फॉलो ऑन करना ही छोड़ दिया, वरना ऑस्ट्रेलिया वाले जो थे वो फॉलो ऑन करते थे और तहस नहस कर देते थे उन दिनों में बैटिंग को मुख्तलिफ टीमों की, और मुसलसल 15 टेस्ट मैच स्टीव वॉ की कप्तानी में ऑस्ट्रेलिया ने जीते हुए थे। उस पर ब्रेक लगाई थी द्रविड़ और लक्ष्मण की उम्दा कारकर्दगी की वजह से। इंडिया में न्यावट शुरू हुआ, इस गेंद को खेल दिया डीप स्क्वायर लेग की जानिब, 1 रन का इजाफा, 113, 3 विकेट के नुकसान पर 24 पे पहुंचे लेवरसेन। मैक्सवेल खेलेंगे 1 पे, कुलदीप है बॉलर जो अपना 7वां ओवर करने तक 22 रन है।
हाँ जी, पिछले ओवर में लास्ट बॉल आपने देखा हुआ है, उसने फास्टर रन किया है, तो वो बॉल बिल्कुल सेम लेंथ पे गिरा है, लेकिन वो स्पिन नहीं हुआ, वो सीधा रहा। तो यही जो बॉल उसे स्टीव स्मिथ को हुआ था, वो स्पिन हुआ और वो मैनेज नहीं कर सकता।
ये बड़ी खतरनाक सिचुएशन होती है कि कोई गेंद सीधी रह रही हो, कोई स्पिन हो रही हो, तो बैट्समैन कंफ्यूज रहता है कि आप वो करे क्या स्पिन के लिए खेलने के लिए जाए या स्ट्रेटर वन के लिए खेलने के लिए जाए, और यहाँ वो गेसिंग में बैट्समैन को जो है प्रॉब्लम आती है, जैसे कि स्मिथ को आई। इस दौरान कुलदीप ने गेंद की, स्मिथ ने गेंद को स्विंग कर दिया, मैक्सवेल ने डीप बैकवर्ड स्क्वायर लेग की जानिब और 1 रन बनाया। बहरहाल मैक्सवेल के होते हुए ये जरूर है कि वो दबकर नहीं खेलेंगे और अटैक करेंगे, और अब तक 3 गेंदों में उन्होंने 2 रन बनाए भी।
बिल्कुल आपने सही कहा कि मैक्सवेल ही है जो इस वक्त आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया को ना उस चीज़ से निकाल सकते हैं कि अगर वो कोई 25-30 बॉल खेल गया ना, तो वो यूज दोनों में
बिल्कुल इसमें कोई शक नहीं है। ऐसे बैट्समैन जो होते हैं वो खेल का पांसा या नक्शा पलट सकते हैं। इस दौरान लेविसन ने स्वीप किया, बड़ा अच्छा स्ट्रोक, बैकवर्ड स्क्वायर लेग को कुछ इलाका कवर करना पड़ा, जब तक वो गेंद को फील्ड करें, थ्रो करें। 1 रन बनाया लेविसन ने, 115, 3 विकेट का नुकसान पर। क्योंकि अगर इनकी हिट्स लग गई और ये क्विक फायर 40-50 रन कर गए तो रन रेट इस वक्त थोड़ा कम लग रहा है, यानी कि इस विकेट के लिहाज से मैं समझूँ कि ऐसा कम भी नहीं है ये रन रेट, लेकिन वो जब बेहतर हो जाएगा और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के ऐसे स्कोर पे पहुंच जाएगा जहां उनके बॉलर्स के लिए बड़ा अच्छा चांस हो, तो मैक्सवेल का विकेट पे रहना ऑस्ट्रेलिया के नुक्ते निगाह से बड़ा अहम है। इस दौरान अगली गेंद जिसे ऑन साइड में खेलने गए थे, लेग स्टंप से बाहर ये गेंद गिरी थी, विकेट कीपर के पास गेंद गई, कोई रन नहीं।
हाँ जी, वो आप ऑस्ट्रेलियन देखो थोड़ा सा पॉजिटिव हो रहे हैं, और वो अगर अच्छी बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं तो उसको स्वीप कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि अच्छी बॉलिंग तो सिर्फ स्वीप ही हो सकती है।
यह स्वीप बड़ा अच्छा इलाज है अच्छे स्पिनर्स का, वो गेंद अच्छी कर रहे हैं। फिर लेकिन उसमें यूनुस खान, ब्रायन लारा, सही बड़े बड़े नाम लिए जा सकते हैं। गेंद को ऑन साइड में खेल दिया, डीप बैकवर्ड स्क्वायर लेग की जानिब, 1 रन का इजाफा और हुआ, स्कोर हो गया है 116, 3 विकेट के नुकसान पर। आखिरी गेंद 2 की बाकी रह गई है और अब सामने करने के लिए तैयार हैं लेबरशेन जो 25 रन पर ऑल आउट है 39 गेंद खेलकर। मैक्सवेल ने 3 रन बनाए हैं 5 गेंदों पर और बड़ी अच्छी बॉलिंग का मुजाहरा कुलदीप की जानब से 7 ओवर कर रहे हैं। 25 रन देकर 1 विकेट ली है। शौकीन क्रिकेट की तादाद में मुसलसल इजाफा हो रहा है। जू शाम जहाँ पे हो रही है, शाम के साए लंबे हो रहे हैं तो गर्मी की शिद्दत में कमी जो है वो हो रही है और जैसे जैसे गर्मी कम होगी और शाम आगे बढ़ेगी तो फिर जो है मजीद तमाशाई नजर आएंगे, क्योंकि इस वक्त 4:15 जो है वो भारतीय वक्त के मुताबिक हो चुके थे। फिर पाकिस्तान में 3:45-46 का वक्त है। इस वक्त आधा घंटा इंडिया का स्टैंडर्ड टाइम जो है वो पाकिस्तान के वक्त से आ गया है। इस गेंद को उन्होंने पैडल कह लें, स्कूप कह लें, हर चीज की है और डीप फाइन लेग की जानिब खूबसूरती के साथ खेला, मगर ईशान किशन की एक बार फिर बड़ी उम्दा फील्डिंग, बिल्कुल बाउंड्री के करीब आए, गेंद को रोकने में कामयाब हुए और 4 रन को उन्होंने महदूद किया 2 रन पे। 29 ओवर मुकम्मल, 118 पे 3।
जीरा प्लस चाय के साथ पेश करके तो देखो, यही है गुफ्तगू का प्लस। जीरे का जायका लिए हमारी बातों से खस्ता जीरा प्लस।
एक कप है कितनों का।
You wonder if he could have made a good test player if he'd really been given the chance.
I feel he would have.
Yeah.
Particularly
that 100 in Sri Lanka. Was it in Sri Lanka that 100 he made?
Or India, I think. But his Jadeja is just short of a length, and Maxwell will turn that away to the deep square leg, who runs in, keeps it to 1, 3 for 119. Sri Lanka, India, he definitely scored 100 against India in India, I think.
Right. Well, that must have been the 104 he's got. It's only played 7 tests, high score 104, and no 50s, average of 26.07, which is a bit unfair, really, isn't it?
Here's Jadeja around the wicket to Labuschagne, and he's caught. Is he caught? There's a huge appeal for him. He is given out. He tried to sweep that out on the onside. He's shaking his head. I think he wants to review it. But he's got a very fine edge to the keeper who's jumped up. He is going to review it. Adamant he didn't hit it. But
that's happened before, though, hasn't it? We know that one from Labuschagne.
Huge and immediate appeal from all the Indian players. They definitely think they've got him, and it'll be 4 for 119 if it's confirmed.
Does the batter ever think that they're out?
Well,
occasionally.
Maybe Gilchrist, but
you
actually, let me rephrase that. Does an Australian batter ever think that they're out?
You generally know if you've hit it, not necessarily. Sometimes other things can happen.
Well, it's certainly not hit anything other than bat if there was a sound coming, because he's nowhere near the ground, nowhere near his pads.
Yeah, you can't really pick it up from the seam of the ball. There's a little bit of an edge. So that'll be the end for Labuschagne. I'll play a jingle because we've got him working. Why not?
Run out here.
Oh, that's not a run out. That's the wrong one. Let's try this one.
Well, Mr. Steve has got his wish finally. Labuschagne is out, and now time for the big hitters to come in.
This is India's mistake. They've got rid of the player who couldn't score. So,
ironically, Labuschagne going for a big hit. Got himself out.
It's interesting. As soon as he turned around from the shot, he slumped his head and went, "Oh no!" And yet he still reviewed it. I feel like he did know he was out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. There's something in his makeup that refuses to allow him to admit that he's made a mistake, I think. But at the end of the day, that was again dubious value in the innings. It's interesting to look at. David Warner scored 41 at a strike rate of 78. Smith 46 at a strike rate of 65, and Labuschagne 27 at a strike rate of 65. I mean, that's just not going to get you anywhere, is it? You just can't afford to keep doing that and lose your wicket.
No, and you look at the Indian bowlers as well. All of this economy rates are 4 or less, except for Hardik, who bowled 2 overs for 21.
Yeah.
So, assuming he doesn't bowl any more overs, where is Australia going to score a run from?
Yeah, it's a worry. I mean, unless Maxwell and Carey, or I don't know if it's Carey or Green that's coming in now, just make a decision to say, okay, this isn't getting us anywhere, this approach. We need to try and change the agenda by going on the attack. And if we lose our wickets, we lose our wickets. But anything else is just surrender, really, isn't it?
Well, you'd think so, yeah, because what's going to happen? They try and defend 220. They hope that Mitch Stark can rip through 4 players at the top of the order and cause some panic, but that's the only way you can see them.
Yeah.
Jay Grover's struck again. Labuschagne would review his own berth. I'm liking this, Jay Grover. Keep him coming.
Jay has for many, many years been the prime source of a lot of our amusement on Guerrilla Cricket, and I would miss him dreadfully if he wasn't around, I must admit. Thank you, Jay. And he's also a supporter of us through Patreon, which you could also be if you wish to, by going to patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket. There are a number of tiers of Patreon where you can choose to give us support on a regular basis to help us pay some of the expenses, which were not inconsiderable to get this out. Unfortunately, none of those expenses involve any money to anybody involved, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind.
It will be Carey. Strike rate of 88 in his career, an average of 33, so not known for scoring quickly.
He does have a more positive attitude, though, I think, than Labuschagne or Smith, generally speaking.
He's always busy. He reminds me of Ian Healy, right?
Yeah. He does have a more positive attitude, though, I think, than Labuschagne or Smith. But that was because I was giving.
He's always busy. He reminds me of Ian Healy, right?
Yeah. He does have a more positive attitude, though, I think, than Labuschagne or Smith. But that was because I was giving.
He's always busy. He reminds me of Ian Healy supporter. That's the other reason not to like Healy, right? As a Victorian.
Yes, true.
Yes, I was one of those. Up there, go the Victorians.
I mean, I've got added gripes now that he was such a shit commentator on TV, but that seems to have, generally speaking, finished now.
Here is Jadeja. He's coming around the wicket to the left-handed Carey. It's into the middle stump line, and Carey defends out to mid-wicket. There's a leg slip in, which is interesting. This is Jadeja, and he's hit Carey on the pad. He's stepping forward. He's been given LBW. Carey tried to turn that on the onside. It turned back, hit the pad, and it was probably running on to hit middle stump.
Yep.
He's going to have a chat to Maxwell whether he wants to refer it. But waiting to see DRS time. He's got 1 second left. He's a bit late.
Maxie said, nah, fuck that. I need it.
He went to put his hands up, I think, and they went, yeah, you missed your chance, mate. Thanks for that. So score 5 for 119. Carey out second ball for a duck. Jadeja 3 for 18 of 5.4 overs so far. He's destroying Australia, as he has done so many times in the Test arena. That one pitched on middle and off, and it was going on to hit middle pretty surely.
I don't know. I think leg, it turned a reasonable amount.
Oh, I think it was turning to hit middle and leg.
Oh dear!
We'll get a replay soon.
So that's 2 ducks. I'm still waiting for a stumping and a run out for that bet to come in.
At what point do we start hearing complaints about the pitch? Because that's what typically the Australian team does when they lose wickets in piles.
To be fair, it's generally the Australian supporters that do it. I haven't heard a lot of complaints from the Australian team about pitches for a very long time now.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how India bats if they chase down 180 or 210 in 30 overs. It'll probably be just put down to something other than the pitch. Cameron Green's in at the wicket. He's in at 7.
This is a good cricketer.
He's a fantastic cricketer, but there's so much riding on this partnership.
And with spin, I think he's vulnerable.
Here's Jadeja. This one's outside of stump. Carey's edgily pushing it out to points. Jadeja thought he had another one there. We get to watch the replay here. It pitched on middle of the leg and it was going on to hit leg stump. Good decision by the umpire for Carey. Jadeja, it's again on off stump and Green is forward defending. Into the over. 5 for 119 off 30 overs. Can Australia at least double it from here as the rule goes?
Oh, they'd be happy to, frankly. You got anything for us, Hardy?
Sorry, I was just getting distracted there by all these wickets. Interesting, Mr. Steve has come back and said, I'm not Australian. I'm Eastern European living in London for 9 years. He's come here to fix a very expensive printing machine, but they've held him captive and doubled his money. So he's loving life at the moment, seeing Australians fall apart.
He's well ensconced in London then if he's enjoying seeing Australia lose.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Stephen Kelk furiously cooking a nice doomed burger on the barbie. Is what the Australians are doing at the moment. That's on our YouTube channel.
Oh, nice one.
India's moving away from spin. They're going to bring Bumrah on. He's bowled 4 overs so far, 1 for 11. Bowled really well, I think, in that first hour.
Dave Wood on Twitter says the Aussies will still win the moral World Cup.
Yeah. You know what? It would be interesting to end up with semi-finals containing all Asian teams, wouldn't it? You have Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and India in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I suspect New Zealand is going to be in the mix given their first game, but maybe that was against a poor English side.
Yeah, I think New Zealand will be up there. I can't see how Sri Lanka get that far, to be honest.
Well, they've got a big net run rate deficit after that loss to South Africa, don't they?
Yeah.
Although, I mean, they did remarkably well in the circumstances, I thought. Their bowling just isn't good enough.
Here's Bumrah. He's going to be bowling to Maxwell, and it's on a good length. Maxwell's defending. Straight back down past the bowler, but no run.
Good to see Jasprit Bumrah back into the Indian side. He's been out for a long time.
Oh, just to see him back in cricket generally, it's great, isn't it?
Such a fascinating bowler too. Short run up and the whippy kind of action.
Yeah, missed him, and of course Rishabh Pant's the other one. Would be great to see back.
He's again to Maxwell, and again he's defending from ball outside off stump, and again it won't beat the mid off.
Yeah, he's still a few months away. They're saying likely won't see him until next year. I think Rishabh Pant.
Broadcast is just showing us Bumrah's line away for this ball, and he's edged Maxwell. He's got that ball for short of a length outside of stump.
No,
that was a replay. Marsh, my bad. I thought he was running in.
That's just how Marsh got up.
It is.
That is Marsh.
Well, this one's short of it. This one's short and bouncer for Maxwell, and he ducks underneath it.
Oh dear.
Showing Bumrah bowling just when I'm expecting to bowl is tricky, but they were showing his lines on the broadcast before I got carried away, and they're all just, you practically had a dead straight line, just different lengths and some different seam movements, but
yeah,
such an accurate bowler.
Better, I felt for the exact same thing. I was celebrating as well.
It's known in guerrilla cricket as doing a bishop, commentating on a wicket that's already been taken.
That last ball was wide, actually, so one more to the total. Took it to 5 for 120. Here is Bumrah to Maxwell, and it's into the leg stump. Maxwell's tried to drive it, but he's moved away a bit on him. He got a bit of outside edge to cover safely. But, there's something going. There's a little bit in the pitch for Bumrah, just enough to make you nervous for Maxwell. I almost think about bringing a slip in.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, given the state of the game, a slip would make a lot of sense, I would have thought. Because you really got Australia on the ropes, and you need to finish them off.
Here is Bumrah again to Maxwell. This was down the leg side. He might get a wide for that as well. He does. 2 wides in the over. Scored a 1-2-1.
What a good line he was bowling.
Well, the first one was a bouncer, so that was probably all right. But that one was, he's lost his radar there. The score predictor's down to 217, which is...
Wow. Yeah, they're not even doubling a 30-over score anymore.
It might even be generous. Such a long tail. Pat Cummins coming in next, and not much after that. Less Stark and slog a few. Here's Bumrah on a length outside off stump, and Maxwell defends to cover. No runs off the bat so far in this over.
There's no sense of wanting to score anything at all. Just survival seems the name of the game.
I was just going to say, sorry, just on the YouTube, replay Russ takes a wicket, mark it in the highlights.
Replay Russ. Yes, I like that.
Here is Bumrah, I think, again. Bowling to Maxwell, and it's full toss on the leg stump, and he's absolutely clobbered it, but it's straight to mid-on, so he won't get a run for that either. Bit of a missed opportunity there for Maxwell. Bumrah's lost all sense of line and length for the moment.
So that's really a state of mind thing for Maxwell, because probably 3 times out of 5 he'd hit that for 6 over square leg. A nice juicy full toss on leg stump.
Yeah, maybe the score's worrying him. He thinks he needs to play out the next 20 overs rather than attacking. Last ball he was into the pads of Maxwell. He'll get a run here. Possibly 2 as the sweeper comes around. It will be 2. Score goes to 1, 2, 3 for 5 end of the over, 31 gone. And we're due for a change, in fact. So Kartik's going to take over the ball by ball. I'm actually staying here for special comments, so we're just going to switch. But Ajit's back in the commentary box.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hello all. So, I must do some social media, I'm told. And, well, Jay Grover is a bit angry with you.
Me?
Russ, he says you utter 4-lettered word starting from C, Russ.
Oh, geez.
VRA with those lines, Russell, he says. And then, of course, he claims, this is a bit of history to it, I've been listening so I know. He's alive for at least 45 years, Jay, and he's been fixing a printer for at least 34 of those. Farong claims that, and the good news for Australia is just that keeps getting better. Their bowling in SAF and warm-ups wasn't the strong point, apparently. And, well, Dave Wood says the Auss will still win Moral World Cup. I don't know if this was already read out. Jay says, Patreon does not begin to explore the idiotic purchases I've made in support of guerrilla cricket.
Jadeja continues around the wicket, I should say, and edge out to, or I could almost say it's an edge, to deep cover. Deep point. One of the deeps for Green. He's off the mark.
Well, deep square
Australia
point.
moves to deep square point. Let's combine that all together. For a single, Australia moves to 124 for 5.
Do we see a bit of worry in that Australian dressing room just now?
I think the worries has arrived a long time ago. Jadeja continues around the wickets to Maxwell this time, and he clips it off his pads down to deep fine leg for another single. So they're starting to pick up some singles here. Pressure ever so slowly releasing, but still plenty
I would
on.
say they have plenty to look forward to. Look, if Maxwell, who plays enough in India, can hang on for the 10 overs, there's plenty to be had here.
Jadeja around the wicket again and pushed through to cover for no run. They're racing through the overs now with the spinners on. India well and truly on track for their over rates. Jadeja around the corner again. This time dug out and driven down to deep mid-off for another single. 3 runs off the over so far, 2 balls remaining.
I don't even try and get a word in during Jadeja's overs. There's no... By the time you've read the score out, he's ready to go.
He's very quick with his overs. He continues around the wicket again. Big, expansive, almost like a bunt by Maxwell. And there it is, a boundary for the first time in, geez, not sure how long.
There's a jingle for boundaries.
Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
A short bunt, square cut, pull, whatever you like, maybe not a pull, whatever you like, out to deep cover, no fielder out there. That's 4 runs finally for the Australians. After almost 16 overs, Jadeja continues again around the wickets, and this time another dot ball to finish off the over. Yep, that's the end of the over. Maxwell moves to 11. Australia now 130 for 5 after 32 overs.
An hour and 3 minutes there was between those 2 boundaries.
Wow. Holy cow. Well, they bowled a lot of overs in between, thanks to Jadeja as well. But going to tweets, Mog says, I won't really trust any score predictor to get their date right, much less the final total. And then Jay Grover chimes in with, doesn't trust design roads. It's the cars, the ATE Paris, he says. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Russ.
It does. I don't design roads. I'm in public transport. Cars That Ate Paris is a movie about...
Cars That Ate Paris. Okay, interesting. Meanwhile, Farong actually tweets out another Dinesh Karthik tweet from earlier on in the day where DK seems to have predicted that Jadeja will have a super day. And Karthik seems to be on the take, apparently.
As Bumrah continues over the wickets and gets through the bottom edge. I don't think there was any bat on that. Go through to the keeper, Rahul. Dot ball. That one kept low, a green.
Just to clarify, Farong didn't say he was on the take. He said he was on the taka, which is on the money in his part of the world.
We're seeing the replay of Jadeja's over to Smith. 3 balls, almost identical, and then the one that turned a little bit more is the one that got the wicket. Bumrah continues over the wicket to Green and played down through to point for no run to that man Jadeja, who's the man of the moment for India at this stage.
I mean, not only does he run through the overs, he's also making sure, probably the pressure he sort of builds in the batsmen's minds will give the wicket to the other bowler, the bowler on the other end, Jadeja. We see his lengths today. I would give my left arm for that because I bowl with the right. I think he's pitched 4 balls outside the good length position and all of them bunched around the stumps.
Bumrah continues over the wickets and exactly the same delivery, exactly the same shot and exactly the same result as the previous delivery. We almost just have press a rewind and press play again. Another no run, another dot ball. Score remains on 130 for 5.
Still getting just that little bit of away movement, Bumrah. It just seems to be troubling Green a little bit.
We saw a pensive looking Marnus there, and somebody had tweeted out, I forgot to read, he would even review his own berth apparently. But yeah, we'll leave that for now.
Bumrah continues over the wickets, and this time a lot more confidently driven. And the misfield has resulted in a single. Unfortunate there for Bumrah. He's bowled a brilliant over so far. Would have been 4 dots, but I think it's Ishan Kishan slipped up there, and Captain Rohit giving him the death stare. He's definitely not happy. Shades of Captain Grumpy, Alan Border back in the day. That would
be double teapot, right? He didn't have that. Nonetheless, I think you can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to pressurize the new man Green. They're trying to build a dot ball pressure on him. They know Maxwell is more set and more dangerous as well.
Bumrah continues over the wickets and solidly played in defence by Maxwell for no run. This has been a good over so far.
What do we make of these bowling changes, guys? Fast bowlers coming in now and then, spinners rotating around them.
I think he's managed the bowls very well. he recognised that there's one bowler he shouldn't be bowling, and he's left Jadeja to do all the work. And I mean, Ashman bowled really well as well. I think he's clever to bring back Bumrah at this point.
Oh, and that's beaten him outside the off stump. Maxwell absolutely bamboozled by Bumrah. And the end of the over, another dot ball, brilliant over by Bumrah. 131 for 5, Australia. India right on top here.
Coming back to tweets. Well, Leah, Lavender Gorilla, clarifies that the cars that ate Paris is excellent. She's addressing me. A very early and rather untypical Peter Weir film. And then Jay says the worry has become a chat song, apparently. Does that make sense to anyone? Is the Chats a group, potentially? A musical group of any sort?
Spoon's going to tell us from the producing box.
That's the point I'm asking out loud. Next tweet from Jay will clarify.
They're a pub rock
Apparently.
band from, I think they're either New South Wales or Queensland, and they're very, very... They've got a song called Chucking a Sickie, and that's the type of music they do.
All right. Meanwhile, Leah says there are lots of things in Guerrillaverse that can be called doing a bishop, not realizing it's a replay, making a very ill-judged dad joke that awakens the porn bot. These are some of the things that can be termed doing a bishop, apparently, after the more famous Tony Bishop.
As Jadeja continues around the wickets and punched off the back foot by Green out to deep cover, and they pick up a single. Score moves to 132 for 5 and Green moves to 4. Maxwell not out on 11.
I think it's become a norm that most cricketers these days, at least from certain countries, wear a tracker. You can see the little bulge above Green's name here. You see a little bulge. He looks like he's wearing that activity tracker while he's at the crease and batting probably. Speaking of Green, he has long levers. Do you think he's going to bide much more time before he gets into the act? Maybe he tries to lift the run rate a little?
There's a big shot coming up soon. Around the corner, Jadeja. By Jadeja, I should say. Another punch out to deep cover. Deep square point, as we were often referred to it. Another single to Maxwell. He moves on to 12, and Australia now 133 for 5.
Green's a funny one. I'll wait for Jadeja to probably bowl 6 balls.
Around the wicket again, and forward defensive punch through to cover, no run. You can get a quick word in now before the next ball.
I think he always strikes me as someone who's very technically correct, but he needs to break the mould when he needs to actually score quickly, and that he can be contained.
Jadeja around the wicket again to Green, and this time driven down the ground through to deep mid-off for a single. Moves on to 5, and Australia 134 for 5. 2 balls to come in this over, and they're about to get started. About to run through straight away.
If you can get a boundary now, this is a good over all of a sudden, right? So 3 in 4 balls is not bad.
There's around the wickets to Maxwell. Oh, popped up. A bat pad would have been perfect there.
There's a lot of there's a lot of weight on that if you can get a boundary there. We've had 1 in 16 something overs.
Fair enough.
Final ball of the over. Around the wickets. Expansive drive straight to the man at short cover. Of course, that is Virat Kohli. The ball's not going past him. That's the end of the over. Australia 134 for 5 after 34 overs. Green not out on 5 and Maxwell not out on 12. And that's 8 overs gone for Jadeja so far. The biggest 3 for 28. Let's pick of the bowlers today so far.
Well, Jay Grover says on Twitter, I'd give both of your arms to bowl and bat like Jadeja. And he's referring to me in this case. So, GB says it's an ODI strike rate that's as important as an average, apparently, in current times. Do we agree? This is a reply to Messi's tweet where he totals David Warner's last 5 innings: 52, 53, 56, 48, 41. But there is a but, Messi said, and apparently he was also referring to the strike rate potentially. Do we think on such a pitch strike rate, at least at the top of the order, would be a big thing, guys?
Oh, it's still pretty relevant. You don't want to waste 30 overs knocking out 50. So I think it becomes less relevant the closer you get to the end, because at that point it doesn't matter if you get out as much. Matters obviously in chases. But so yeah, it depends where you're batting. That'd be my thought.
Fair enough. I mean, at the top of the order, the first 20 overs, if you can get to even 82 for 2, 85 for 2, you're in a decent position in such a pitch, simply because you keep wickets in hand, but you are in a position to then dominate, start dictating terms. But that's the one thing India have done really well, because Australia were there or thereabouts. But then in the middle overs, they're able to take these wickets. Mainly Jadeja, I mean, he came back pretty well. He was targeted in his first over, in fact. He's come back pretty well, and now I think they're going to look to play him out almost, if possible.
Yeah, a big cheer in the crowd as the local boy Ravi Ashwin is back into the attack. He bowls over the wickets to Green, nudges it out to that's for the opposition. That point, and they pick up a single. It moves to 6. Australia 135 for 5. You do get a bit more time between balls with Ashwin. He's always moving the field. He's always doing something.
Indeed, very thinking, because he turns the ball both ways. So that's worth. In the meantime, Glenn Maxwell probably wants another bat. He's hitting bat. He's called for the other club.
This will be interesting to see what happens now.
Yeah, we see some speeds today, and looks like Indian seamers are averaging around the 138 kph mark, and they've both bowled around 140s to be the fastest, but also you can see that's a consistent good speed on such a tough, hot day. That's well done to the Indian seamers.
Maxwell has a look around, wondering where he's going to launch this. Ashwin comes into bowl over the wicket to Maxwell. Full delivery, dug the Yorker out, so that's gone out to deep mid-on for another single. And the score ticks along to 136 for 5. Maxwell on to 13, and Green still not out on 6. Straight into it is now facing Ashwin again, who's got a slip now. There comes the Curran ball. Played off the back foot.
Well picked. I think Green was also. There you go. Green confirms. Yeah. That was the one that was going to turn the other way.
Ashwin comes in again, and much more conventional this time. Full delivery, played back for no run.
He's watching the wrist, Green. Signalled that he saw it.
Well done him. And did we just see the ball being slowed up a little in the air by Ashwin here?
Ashwin over the wicket again, and this time launches down the track. Hit a bit of a miscue, actually. I thought that was going further than it actually did. And went out to deep mid-wicket, picked up by the great man Virat Kohli. In the end, only picked up a single. Bit of a miscue there. So the score moves to 137 for 5.
It's the first sign of intent we've seen in almost 15 overs. So obviously they've decided that they need to score something.
Ashwin over the wicket again. And this time, big heave by Maxwell. That's 2 in a row by the Australians. Something's happened. There's some sort of message that's been sent out to the batsmen in the field. Another miscue, but another single nevertheless. Australia, end of the over. 35 overs gone. 138 for 5. Interesting last 2 balls.
So, there's nothing to add from the Twitter world or the X world. I'm always a bit careful while saying that. We've all had some X's in our past, so the X world. But anyway, coming back to the real world, what do you think is a good total, guys? Would Australia take 230 from here, or would they be disappointed?
Well, I don't think they've got a chance of getting a good total from here. but I think
there's still 90 balls left. I'm thinking with.
Yeah, I think they could get. I mean, if things went really well, they could get to 230, even 240. 100 or 15 overs is not a difficult thing. Maybe even 250 still. But and that maybe puts them in a position where they could potentially defend it. I think if they lost another wicket, they might be happy with 210 or 200.
Yeah, I at the start of the innings, earlier in the innings when I was on. I said Australia would be will be bowled out or restricted to sub 250. I'm now thinking that's going to be sub 200 at this rate. I don't know whether they'll get to 200 the way they're going.
I'm thinking even with 220 or 230, Australia will be fairly comfortable. This is not an easy pitch, and even if they don't get the initial breakthroughs, if they can keep the scoring rate down, this is going to be a tough pitch once the ball becomes older to score runs on, even in the evening, I think.
Agree. Kuldeep continues over the wickets, and this time Maxwell pulls, comes out to deep mid-wicket. Jadeja in the field there. You're definitely not running two on his arm. That's a single for Maxwell. The last three balls, there's been some intent, a change of intent from the Australians, and maybe we'll see some big shots coming, or big runs, big scores coming very shortly. Let's wait and see. Something's going to happen here. Either it's going to go out of the ground, or the batsmen are going to go out of the ground.
Yeah, you can see it build up here. But speaking on behalf of the Mullet Appreciation Society, I saw Jadeja at the beginnings of a good one as well, along with Ishan Kishan, who sports a proper mullet.
Yep, Kuldeep continues over the wicket to Green this time. Full delivery, pushed forward defensively to cover for no run. Short cover for no run. Score remains on 139 for 5. And of course, being a spinner, there's almost next to no turnaround time, so we're back in it again. Kuldeep continues over the wickets to Green, and this time a dabble or punt, whatever you want to call it, down to deep mid on, almost Virat Kohli-like, except he's a lot taller, so it didn't look as nice. Down to deep mid on for a single, moves to 8, and the score now is 140 for 5, and Maxwell back on strike.
Despite the lack of runs and the spinners being on all the time, we're actually not doing particularly well for the over rate, I don't think.
Kuldeep continues over the wicket. Oh, this is an interesting one. Maxwell walked down the crease, and was that a shot? I'm not sure that was...
I think he put his bat in front to resemble something like a shot, so that it won't be considered as a leave.
Well, I think he hit him in line. Get an inside edge onto it.
Go. Inside edge, yep. Kuldeep with the flipper, or the wrong one. Brad Hogg style. He used to be the master of those, left-arm Chinaman. You could not pick him, even at 40. Kuldeep continues over the wicket to Maxwell. Oh, he's bowled him!
Oh, dear.
Leg stump out of the ground. Completely bamboozled. Maxwell, I'm not sure what he was thinking with that one. And not the shot that he should have played. It was a lot fuller than what he thought. Should not have played back off that delivery. Alas, he's been clean bowled, and Australia lose their 6th wicket. Looked like the top spin on the replay, and obviously the pitch doing the rest. Lose their 6th wicket for 140, and Maxwell gone for 15. Bowled Kuldeep Yadav. Australia has said 140 for 6.
Well, I think the ball was on the faster side, and the pace on the ball may have actually beaten Maxwell's shot. The length was there to be hit, from what I can see, but the ball was that much faster that Maxwell's shot was beaten, and he got bowled.
I think we mentioned that they'd started to look to play with more intent, and it was a bit of an ugly heave. Pitching on middle and off, and he's trying to. It wasn't short enough to play the shot necessarily, and once it turned, he's kind of played over the top of it.
So probably skipper Pat comes in a bit earlier than he would have liked. But look, we should also credit Rohit Sharma with these bowling changes. He's rung the changes around. He's given a go for Ashwin and Kuldeep, while Jadeja and a faster bowler was in action. So you see, he's sort of ringing in the changes, keeping the batsman also guessing, simply because the pace changes, the lengths and the lines that change all the time. So wrist and a conventional spinner together, that's a good go actually, if you ask me, on such a pitch.
Yeah, agree. The pitch has certainly helped the spinners today, as Kuldeep comes into bowl to the Australian captain Pat Cummins, and there's a false start because the side screen there, Kuldeep's decided to go around the wicket to Pat Cummins. I think this for the first time in the whole game. Last ball of the over, Kuldeep around the wicket to Cummins, tries an expansive drive, but digs out the Yorker. Dot ball. It's the end of the over for Kuldeep, and he's signaling to the change rooms that he wants to come off after a well-earned break of picking up a wicket at the end of that over. 2 for 29 off 8 overs. Australia 140 for 6 after 36 overs. Successful over for India.
Indeed. So, in the meantime, we have a couple of tweets. So, Farang says, India winning the World Cup would be equivalent of Liverpool winning the league. It may become unbearable. Already bad enough as Collingwood have won the AFL, apparently. The Australian Football League fans.
It's pretty bad. I can confirm, living in Australia and living in Victoria for many years as I did, and being a Carlton fan, Collingwood winning the AFL Grand Final was arguably the worst thing to happen for AFL in this country.
All right. In the meantime, Jay Grover says, I think this is the perfect time to sell Australian cricket team MLM or Chakra Insurance. Context is a bit lost on me.
Can't help you with that one. Ashwin continues over the wickets to Green, and that's a dot ball for no run.
So, we see a replay of Maxwell's wicket.
Ashwin continues again, and this time he's caught. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Green is now gone, caught at short point. Ashwin, I think that was the Karen ball or the Dusra or something. It was definitely not his regulation ball.
No, it was a Karen ball.
Karen ball, yep. Short, wide, outside the off stump. Green went for the slash and top edge straight down the throat of a short point or a gully even in Hardik Pandya. Australia lose their 7th wicket at the score at 140, and this could be over very, very quickly at the rate things are going. Green out for 8 and 140 for 7.
Australia now lost 5 for 30 in the past 9 overs. So it's a proper collapse.
I'm just thinking, we may see some fireworks now if Stark comes out. As much as he may understand or may not understand the ball.
We might see one firework and then he gets bowled,
one
right?
At least. No, I'm just thinking
one way or the other we're seeing fireworks, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say that's the best approach if you are the Australian batting team at this point in time. There's no point in hanging around too long. They both play test matches. Stark and Cummins, so they know what it's all about if they have to take time out of the game. But I think they are both tall, strong men. Big levers, long levers, right? And big arms. So why not just, if the ball is in your range, that's the best way to make a spinner uncomfortable. Hit him out of his length. Australians have allowed spinners to settle in on this pitch, bowl that length, the length that they want and the pace they want. You have to make the spinner think a little, hit a couple down the ground straight back over their head. The spinner start thinking. So, and as well, you might be 150 all out, you might as well be 161 all out. If you get in a couple of shots, who knows, you might get to 200.
Agreed, yeah, now's the time they may as well hit out. Because the pitch is not going to, they're not going to survive playing for another 14 overs on this pitch. So they may as well just get hit out and get as many as they can.
They are showing us those 2 balls of Ashwin where he set Green up with one that turned as a leg break, like a carom ball, and then the other one that went straight wrong.
Ashwin continues to, or not continues, first time to Mitch Stark. Around the wicket, digs out the Yorker and straight back to Ashwin for a dot ball.
Green really reached for that, didn't he?
He did, yeah. Ashwin ready to go again around the wicket to Stark. And this time gets a similar delivery, but forward defence by Stark back to Ashwin for another dot ball. 4 dots
3 spinners
and a wicket.
The 3 spinners have worked for India.
Ashwin continues around the wicket to Stark and another dot ball. This could very well
all
be
3
a wicket
spinners.
maiden.
Well, he's considered a run, I think, this over already. Oh, no, he has not. You're right. What I was going to say is all 3 spinners will end up with less than 4 runs an over if Ashwin doesn't go for a big boundary or something this ball. So that's really well done. 8 overs each. And in between them, they have picked 6 wickets and conceded like 67 runs. 87 runs, 88 runs. That's well done.
And yep, around the wicket again, nudged to mid-on, another dot ball, and that's the end of the over. Wicket maiden for Ashwin. 140 for 7.
We do a change.
7 overs, Australia in all sorts. And we are now due for a change. Coming into the commentary now will be...
Me.
This is...
And Sapun, do you want me to do the ball by ball, or is your voice recovered sufficiently? All right, there it is. Have you recovered sufficiently to do the ball by ball, Sapun, or would you like me or Ajit to do it for you?
It feels like I've recovered, so...
Well, give it a whirl.
Go for it. Otherwise, let us know. I can take over for a bit. No worries.
I have to channel my inner bear by saying that Australia are in a dis-a-fucking-ray.
So you're going to be the predictor of the bear game today?
Absolutely. I think India will have won this probably after 25 to 30 overs.
I hope so. I need some sleep. As
I've got to get to work at 9 a.m.
Kuldeep comes in, and that is beating Cummins, and pretty sure it's hit the stumps by the keeper, but no actual wicket there. But that's a very good first delivery to Cummins by Kuldeep. Good bit of spin, turning in, just missing the edge.
You can see where I am coming from. There's only so many balls these two will look at, then they'll have a go, I think.
Yeah.
Kuldeep in again, straight a line. Cummins manages to get pat on it and drops it down by his feet, but no run. Yeah, it's amazing. Like the whole captaincy and the whole Indian team, this innings is just everything's played off exactly as they needed it. Kuldeep comes in, and that's angling in, hits Cummins on the pads, but it's outside off, and no.
It was well outside off, I think. Yeah,
no chance of an LBW. But the DRS timer is just ticking down, just in case.
Nah, you really don't see them. You really don't see them. He's well outside the line. By the way, I had not seen the White Line Wireless pin tweet. That kitten looks amazingly cute.
As Kuldeep in again, and Cummins just works that through the cover, but no run. Yes, there's a lot of cats around, and if you do want to help Russ foster these cats, you can donate to the Sugar and Spice Cat Rescue.
Very nice. Oh, cutie.
As Kuldeep comes in to Cummins, who plays it late, just off his pads, and he finally manages to get a run, taking the Australian total to 141 off 7 after 37 and a half overs.
Which looks a bit pensive, eh, Mr. Vettori? He's not happy about the goings on. Maybe he's fancying a bowl here.
I mean, if Vettori is your spinning coach and you've only got one spinner, there's your problem.
Why not?
I'd rather have Victoria in the team, to be honest.
I mean, he can probably do a better job. Just sub him in. Can you make him your super sub?
Sorry.
As Kuldeep into Stark, and that is curving in, but Stark manages to get some bat on it that goes down to long on, and they only managed to run one. But that's 2 off the over. Australia 142 for 7.
Kuldeep dropped that. I wonder if Kuldeep dropped it. It was a rough chance, hit straight at him. I wonder if it was a drop. Sorry.
Jay Grover says, bother. Back to supporting the country of my aunties then. And blimey, a game of carom might be more fun than this toss carnival.
Carom is a lot of fun. I will not hear a bad word said about carom. Carom is a lot of fun.
Warren says, morning all. Got Gorilla Cricket in my ear. Australia losing on my iPad, and the nail biter that is Japan versus Argentina on TV. What's the score
Rugby,
there?
I assume.
Yeah, that's the only match that really matters at the moment. So, what's the score? Japan 7, Argentina 12. Whoever wins that goes through to the semi-finals.
And Ashwin in to Stark, who just plays a defensive shot. Cummins wants a single, but gets sent back by Stark, and there's no run. So run rate of 3.72. This is an insurmountable target for India to chase in 10 overs. as Ashwin into Stark, who just defends that in. And I think you're right, Ajit. Australia just, if they bat out the overs like this, they're going to get another 10 runs.
That's right.
Ashwin to Stark, who manages to get a single here, plays it deep, rotates the strike, gets Cummins back on. But it's just just go for it. If you get 2 sixes and then you lose your wickets,
they're getting their eyes in. They're getting their eyes in their, their reading of the pitch in. Shortly, you're going to see some big shots. I mean, that's what I would do, right? There's no point in hanging around for too long.
Come on, you buggers. Sapun needs to go to bed.
Yeah.
सब कुछ आज इंडियंस के लिए पैदा हुआ है या पैदा किया गया है. दैट रिमेन टू बी सीन. अश्विन गेंद करेंगे, कमिंस इनका सामना करेंगे. इस बार पैरेलल स्वीप किया है लॉन्ग लेग की जानिब. एक रन बनाया, फील्डर गेंद के पीछे है, दूर से दौड़ते हुए, और 1 रन ही का इजाफा होगा. इस 1 रन के इजाफे से ऑस्ट्रेलिया 144/7. तो यहाँ पर चेन्नई में अब शाम ढल रही है और जो मसनूई रोशनियां हैं उनको भी चालू कर दिया गया है, ऑन कर दिया गया है. और अब ये डे नाइट क्रिकेट बहुत जल्द शुरू हो जाएगी, जिसमें इंडियंस मतवक्को तौर पर एक कदर आसान टारगेट को हासिल करने की कोशिश करेंगे. अगली गेंद शॉट की उसको जोरदार तरीके से घुमा दिया है ऑन साइड पर. 1 रन हासिल किया है बैट्समैन स्टार्क ने. इस 1 रन के इजाफे से ऑस्ट्रेलिया का स्कोर हो गया है 145. 7 विकेटों के नुकसान पर 38 गेंदें और 38 ओवर और 5 गेंदें फेंकी जा चुकी है. रन रेट बड़ा हकीर है 3.73 का.
हाँ जी, लेकिन मैं ये अभी भी सोचता हूँ कि अगर स्टार्क और कमिंस ये पूरे ओवर्स खेल गए ना, तो फिर भी ये कोई 40 रन तो इंच ऐड कर लें.
ये गेंद जो मिडिल ऑफ द प्रति टप्पा पड़ने के बाद अंदर आई, इसको ऑन साइड पर फेस किया स्टार्क ने. मिड विकेट पर फील्डर मौजूद थे, गेंद पर फील्ड किया, किसी रन का इजाफा नहीं.
हमें क्रिकेट से उतना ही लगाव है जितना कि आपको है. इसीलिए हमें आईसीसी मेंस क्रिकेट वर्ल्ड कप 2023 के स्पॉन्सर होने पर फक्र है. फ्लाई एमिरेट्स, फ्लाई बेटर.
पैंथर टायर्स, लेवल ही हो है.
आईसीसी वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में देखते जाओ, कमाते जाओ. माइको लगाओ. डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ.
कुलदीप ने 31 रन देकर 2 विकेट हासिल किया और उनका अच्छा स्पेल रहा है. जबकि अब ऑस्ट्रेलिया 145 7 विकेट नुकसान पर. अश्विन जब भी अपना ओवर खत्म कर चुकी है, 9 ओवर 31 रन और 1 विकेट. इनसे क्या और बेहतर तवक्को की जा सकती है. कासियत बॉल, और उन्होंने एक उम्दा स्पेल किया है. अभी उनका 1 ओवर बाकी है. कुलदीप बॉलिंग करने के लिए आ गए हैं. ऑफ साइड पर पॉइंट, शॉर्ट कवर, डीप एक्स्ट्रा कवर और लॉन्ग ऑफ है. कुलदीप ने ये फील्ड रखी है स्टार्क के लिए, जो कि 3 रन में बैटिंग कर रहे हैं. 9 गेंदों का सामना किया है. कुलदीप ओवर द विकेट गेंद करेंगे. फ्लाइटेड गेंद, स्पोर्ट ड्राइव करना चाहते थे. ऑफ साइड पर गेंद गई, ऑन साइड पर.
हाँ जी, वो उसको जज नहीं कर सके बॉल को. बॉल थोड़ा स्पिन हुआ, वो मिडल में वो बैठ के और ऑन साइड पे चला.
यहाँ पर शायकी ने क्रिकेट देख रहे हैं और उनके चेहरे पे तमानियत. जयशाह भी बैठे हुए हैं, वो भी गपबाजी कर रहे हैं. अगली गेंद जो कि मिडिल लेग स्टंप पर, जिसको ऑन साइड पर ड्राइव किया लॉन्ग ऑन की जानिब और 1 रन हासिल किया. 1 रन के इजाफे से स्कोर बढ़ता हुआ 7 विकेट नुकसान पर 146 हो गया है. अगरचे फिर भी मैं कहूंगा बार बार मौके मिले ऑस्ट्रेलियंस को, जो एस्टैब्लिश भी हो गए, अपनी विकेट खो बैठे. देखें, वो इकबाल कहते थे नादा सजदे में गिरे जब वक्त कयाम आया. और जिस तरीके से हमने देखा 41 रन बनाकर वॉर्नर आउट हुए. 52 गेंदें खेल चुके थे. 40 रन बनाए 71 गेंदों में स्टीवन स्मिथ ने, और फिर 27 रन बनाकर आउट हुए लबाशैन. 41 गेंदों का सामना किया, एस्टैब्लिश होकर आउट हुए. शॉर्ट गेंद की जोरदार तरीके से पुल किया है. कमजोर पुल है या ताकतवर, ये देखना होगा. गेंद 6 रन के लिए बाहर जा चुकी है.
It's a 6, a fly better moment brought to you by Emirates.
आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम में वो पहला उन्होंने इतना बैट बॉल किया, इतना टाइम मिला है तो उन्होंने बैकफुट पे जाके बड़ा अच्छा शॉट मिड विकेट पे 6 रन के लिए मारा. पैट
कमिंग जो है वो ये जो लोअर ऑर्डर बैटर होते हैं, ये 2 चीजों का इंतजार कर रहे होते हैं. एक फुल टॉस, वो भी अगर डाउन द लेग स्टंप मिल जाए, और एक शॉर्ट गेंद. इस बार देखिए स्ट्रगल कर रहे थे, करीब था कि स्टेप पे ये कैच हो जाता, लेकिन गेंद आगे गिरी रोहित शर्मा के और गई 3rd मैन की जानिब. उनके हाथ से लगने के बाद जुज़वी तौर पर गेंद को रोक लिया था. मुस्कुरा रहे हैं कि क्या अच्छा कम बैक किया था, और क्या ही अच्छा होता कि अगर ये कैच बराह रास्त उनकी तरफ आता. पांव पे गेंद लगी, टांग पे गेंद लगी. ये कभी अर्श में कभी फर्श पे, ये तो जाहिर है कि टेलर्स का खासा होता है। कुलदीप अगली गेंद करेंगे, ओवर पिच गेंद इसको सीधे बल्ले के साथ खेले ऑफ साइड पर, गली की जानिब गेंद की जहां पर फील्डो बालू थे, उन्होंने फील्ड किया, किसी रन का इजाफा नहीं। अब यहां पर कहना होगा कि जो बात आप कर रहे थे कि 180 रन भी हो सकता है कि कोई मुश्किल पैदा करते हैं जो बैटर्स हैं उनके लिए, और यहां पर स्टार्क और कमिंग्स को एक यूजफुल और तेज इनिंग्स खेलना होगी। कुलदीप गेंद करेंगे, 10वीं ओवर की आखिरी गेंद होगी, इस बार बाउंड्री लगा और गेंद जाएगी थर्ड मैन बाउंड्री के बाहर 4 रन के लिए। ये देखना होगा, जी हां ये चौका हो चुका है, वह इस तरह एक चौका हासिल किया है कमिंग्स ने, और ये एक वेलकम बाउंड्री है छक्के के बाद। ऑस्ट्रेलिया 40 ओवरों के बाद 156 for 7।
It's a 4, a fly better moment brought to you by Emirates.
जीरा प्लस चाय के साथ पेश करके तो देखो, यही है गुफ्तगू का प्लस। जीरे का जायका लिए हमारी बातों से खस्ता जीरा प्लस।
Panther King 56 and King 56 Plus. It's all about the grip.
ICC वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में देखते जाओ कमाते जाओ, माइको लगाओ, डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
इस तरह एक चौका और एक छक्का लगने से किसी हद तक पेशरफ्त हुई है ऑस्ट्रेलिया के मजमूई स्कोर में। आगे क्या कुछ होगा, किस तरीके से ये दोनों बैट्समैन आने वाले 5 ओवर्स में सूरत हाल को बेहतर करने की कोशिश में कामयाब होंगे, या फिर जो इंडियन स्पिनर्स हैं वो डोमिनेट करेंगे और विकेट गिरने का जो तसलसल है वो किस तरीके से जारी रहेगा, ये सब कुछ आपको बताएंगे। राना अशफाक उनके साथ चाय की चुस्कियां ले रहे हैं इस वक्त, वकास वो भी आ चुके हैं, और ये तालमेल जो है आपको आने वाले 5 ओवर्स का अहवाल बताएगा।
असद जो है वो चाय का मजा दोबाला करेंगे जीरा प्लस के साथ। बुमराह को वापस लाया गया है, उन्होंने 6 ओवर में 16 रन दिए, 1 विकेट ली, और बुमराह के 9 ओवर की पहली गेंद जिसे थर्ड मैन पे स्टेयर किया, फील्डर बाउंड्री पे मौजूद 1 रन के साथ 157, 7 विकेट के नुकसान पर 41वें ओवर का खेल शुरू हुआ है। पैट कमिंस ने कहीं न कहीं उम्मीद दिलाई है अपने आप को और अपनी टीम को कि अभी भी कुछ रन्स किए जा सकते हैं। एक जोरदार छक्का और एक जबरदस्त चौका जो है पिछले ओवर में उन्होंने वकास लगाया। बहुत ही शानदार पिछला ओवर ऑस्ट्रेलिया के लिए, खासतौर पे पैट कमिंस बहुत ही जबरदस्त उन्होंने छक्का लगाया, और अगली लास्ट बॉल जो थी कुलदीप यादव की उस पर बाउंड्री हासिल की। अगेन इट वाज 4, तो 157, 7 विकेट। इस दौरान बुमराह एक गेंद की लेग और मिडिल स्टंप पर गेंद थी जिसे ऑफ साइड में पुश किया। पैट कमिंस ने कोई रन न बन सका। पैट कमिंस एक बहुत ही जबरदस्त एशेज टेस्ट मैच भी जितवा चुके हैं जो हाल ही में रिसेंटली एशेज खेली गई, और उसमें उन्होंने बड़ी जबरदस्त बैटिंग की। जी हाँ, बुमराह ने अब तक 117 रन दिए, 1 विकेट उन्होंने हासिल किए 6.2 ओवर्स में। एशेज में पैट कमिंस की वो यादगार इनिंग है, और क्या खूब उन्होंने चेस डाउन किया लॉर्ड्स के तारीखी मैदान में। बुमराह हमसे दूर दौड़ते हुए जा रहे तेजी के साथ, पहुंचे विकेटों पर, आए गेंद की, ये गेंद भी लेग स्टंप की जानिब थी जिसे फ्रंट फुट पे आके दिफाई अंदाज से खेले, और इस वक्त बॉलिंग करें मीडिया बॉक्स एंड की जानिब से, जबकि दूसरा एंड जो है वो मद्रास क्लब एंड कहलाता है, यानी मद्रास क्रिकेट क्लब एंड जो है वो कहलाता है। राना अशफाक, चाय की चुस्कियां कपाल जी की तो हम ले रहे हैं, लगता है आज ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम भी चाय में ही मदहोश है, और अंदर जो उनके बैटर्स हैं वो उस तरह से परफॉर्म नहीं कर रहे जिस तरह से एक्सपेक्टेड था, जिस तरह से एक बड़े स्कोर की और अच्छे टोटल की तवक्को थी ऑस्ट्रेलियन टीम से। बिल्कुल ऐसा ही लग रहा था जब उन्होंने टॉस जीत के बैटिंग का फैसला किया कि काफी बड़ा स्कोर बनाएंगे, और वैसे भी ऑस्ट्रेलिया की शोहरत है, मगर इंडियन पेसर्स और स्पिनर्स ने बड़ी उम्दा कारकर्दगी अब तक दिखाई है। पैट कमिंस शफल करके ऑफ स्टंप से बाहर आ गए थे, गेंद बाउंड पे खेलने गए थे, कुछ मिक्सअप किया अपनी पेस को, कुछ वेरिएशन लाए और बीट करने में बुमराह कामयाब हुए, और लाइट्स आर स्विच्ड ऑन विद फुल इफेक्ट। लाइट्स रोशन हो गई हैं और तमाशाइयों के मजीद बढ़ने की उम्मीद है। बहुत ही खूबसूरत शाम है इस वक्त यहाँ चेन्नई में। ये बड़ा जबरदस्त है, पहले 10 ओवर में 43 रन, सेकंड में 42, देन 34 रन बनाए। ऑस्ट्रेलिया टीम ने 3 विकेट्स यहाँ पे गिरी ऑस्ट्रेलिया टीम की 21 से 30 ओवर्स में, और अगेन आखिरी जो था वो 37 रन उन्होंने हासिल की। तो यूं 157 for 7। देखना यह है कि कितना टोटल खड़ा करते हैं।
इस दौरान अगली गेंद स्विंग किया, मिड विकेट को क्लियर किया, अच्छा शॉट, मगर फील्डर बाउंड्री पे पहुंचे गेंद तक, और इस दौरान 2 रन का मौका पैट कमिंस ने बनाया। पैट कमिंस 14
ऑस्ट्रेलिया 159 7 विकेट के नुकसान पर। जी हां, अब इंटेंशंस कुछ वाजे हैं, रन तेजी से करना चाहेंगे। 21 से लेकर 40 ओवर तक जिस तरह आपने बताया, इन्होंने सिर्फ कोई 71 रन बनाए और 5 विकेटें लूज की।
जी बिल्कुल, और वो बड़े क्रिटिकल ओवर्स थे, और खासतौर पे इंडियन बॉलिंग की बात की जाए, रोहित शर्मा ने जिस तरह से आज अपने स्पिनर्स को और ऊपर से बॉलर्स को यूज किया, वो बड़ा जबरदस्त था।
बुमराह ओवर द विकेट आए, गेंद की एक बार फिर स्विंग किया है, मिड विकेट की जानिब फील्डर मौजूद है बाउंड्री पे, लिहाजा सिर्फ 1 रन का मौका। 41 ओवर्स पूरे, 160 के साथ ऑस्ट्रेलिया।
हमें क्रिकेट से उतना ही लगाव है जितना कि आपको है, इसीलिए हमें आईसीसी मेंस क्रिकेट वर्ल्ड कप 2023 के स्पॉन्सर होने पर फक्र है। फ्लाई एमिरेट्स, फ्लाई बेटर।
When cricket comes, one expat is here. Cheer for your favorite team at the World Cup 2023 with us. Search One Expat at Internet now and start enjoying all the benefits. One Expat, united by cricket, united by win.
आईसीसी वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में देखते जाओ कमाते जाओ, माइको लगाओ, डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
41 ओवर का खेल, 160 रन, 7 आउट हो चुके हैं यहाँ पे बैटर्स ऑस्ट्रेलिया टीम के। जडेजा कंटिन्यू करेंगे, 8 ओवर्स कर चुके हैं, 28 रन और 3 कीमती विकेट। जडेजा एक फैक्टर रहे हैं आज इंडियन टीम की बॉलिंग में, जब उनको लाया गया उन्होंने विकेट्स हासिल किए, और ऑस्ट्रेलिया टीम उसके बाद दोबारा से उस कलर में वापस नहीं आ सकी।
जडेजा आए, बीट किया, बड़ी खूबसूरत गेंद, जस्ट अ बिट आउटसाइड द ऑफ स्टंप, फिर गेंद विकेट कीपर के पास पहुंची, और शाम अब तकरीबन ढल चुकी है, सूरज गुरूब होने को है, कुछ ही देर में तारीखी फिजा को अपनी आगोश में ले लेगी यहाँ चेन्नई में, मगर मैदान में जो है मुकम्मल तौर पर रोशनी है, क्योंकि फ्लड लाइट्स पूरी तरह से ऑन है। इस बार तो रिवर्स खेले मगर गली को बीट नहीं कर पाए, एक और डॉट बॉल।
कोशिश कर रहे हैं ऑस्ट्रेलियाई बैटर्स, खासतौर पे कप्तान जब से खेलने आए हैं, कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि कहीं ना कहीं इम्प्रोवाइज किया जाए, बड़ी हिट्स लगाई जाए, कामयाब नहीं हो पा रहे।
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है, जडेजा अपनी चौथी विकेट की तलाश में है, और गेंद विकेट आम अंदर आई, मिडल और लेग स्टंप की जानिब जिसे मिड ऑफ पे रोककर खेले, एक और डॉट बॉल।
ऐसा लग रहा है कि जडेजा इनकी जान नहीं छोड़ रहे और मुसलसल अंडर प्रेशर किया हुआ है।
पहुंचे, गेंद की एक और तेज गेंद विकेट गिरने के बाद बैट्समैन की जानिब आई और उन्हें स्पेस के लिए क्रैम्प किया, एक और डॉट, 4 डॉट्स इन अ रो।
आज ऑस्ट्रेलिया टीम के लिए एक रौनक ख्वाब ऐसे साबित हो रहे हैं जडेजा, और 3 कीमती विकेट्स उन्होंने हासिल की, 7 बैट्समैन उन्होंने आउट किए।
इस मरतबा जगह बनाई, बल्ला थ्रो किया, जिसे अंग्रेजी में कहते हैं थ्रू किचन सिंक्स एट दैट। गेंद को लिफ्ट करके लॉन्ग ऑफ के ऊपर से मारना चाहते थे मगर कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाए, डॉट बॉल।
ये जबरदस्त है, अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि जिस तरह से बॉलर्स ग्रिप कर रहे हैं, जडेजा अगला बॉल करेंगे जिसे
विकेट कीपर बीट हुए, रन्स मिलेंगे, कीमती रन्स, 1-2 नहीं, वाइड बॉल होगी तो फिर 5 रन्स का इजाफा होगा, 4 रन्स तो कम से कम है। जी हां, 4 रन्स के लिए गेंद बाउंड्री से बाहर, 42 ओवर्स के बाद 164 पे 7।
It's a 4, a fly better moment brought to you by Emirates.
हमें क्रिकेट से उतना ही लगाव है जितना कि आपको है, इसीलिए हमें आईसीसी मेंस क्रिकेट वर्ल्ड कप 2023 के स्पॉन्सर होने पर फक्र है। फ्लाई एमिरेट्स, फ्लाई बेटर।
जीरा प्लस चाय के साथ पेश करके तो देखो, फिर देखो कैसे सालों का फासला एक सुर में मिट जाता है। यही है गुफ्तगू का प्लस। जीरे का जायका लिए हमारी बातों सा खस्ता जीरा प्लस।
आईसीसी वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में देखते जाओ कमाते जाओ, माइको लगाओ, डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
इंडियन टीम के कोच राहुल द्रविड़ बिल्कुल मुतमईन नजर आ रहे हैं अपने डगआउट में, और बिल्कुल होना भी चाहिए क्योंकि आज उनकी टीम ने, उनके बॉलर्स ने बड़ा जबरदस्त परफॉर्म किया है, और एक्सपेक्टेशन जो थी, जो स्पिनर्स से खासतौर पे, और जिस तरह की विकेट थी, जिस तरह की हिस्ट्री थी इस पिच की, इस ग्राउंड की, तो उस पर पूरा उतरे हैं, शायद उससे भी ज्यादा आगे चले गए हैं, और खास तौर पे अंडर प्रेशर किया हुआ है। शायद ये रोहित शर्मा सोच रहे होंगे कि अच्छा किया हम टॉस हार गए, अदरवाइज वो भी ये चाह रहे थे कि हम बैटिंग करते थे।
बिल्कुल, और इस दौरान बुमराह ने नया ओवर शुरू किया, पहली गेंद को एक टांग पे हल्का सा उछलते हुए डीप स्क्वायर लेग की जानिब खेले, 1 रन बनाने में कामयाब हुए मिचेल स्टार्क। जहाँ आपने राहुल द्रविड़ की भी बात की, जो तो काफी मुतमईन है अपने दौर के मायानाज बैट्समैन, और यहाँ जब पाकिस्तान आई थी भारत की टीम को 277 रन रावलपिंडी के मुकाम पर स्कोर किए थे। ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड, साउथ अफ्रीका, इंग्लैंड, हर जगह उन्होंने रन किए। बैक इन 1995 उन्होंने अपना डेब्यू टेस्ट मैच खेला था इंग्लैंड में। और राहुल जो है उनके कैरियर के आखिर में, बिल्कुल बैक एंड में, उनको एक T20 मैच खिलाया गया। इस गेम के बाद हम जिक्र करेंगे। इस दौरान बुमराह राइट आर्म ओवर द विकेट पहुंचे, गेंद की कमिंस का उठता हुआ स्ट्रोक, लॉन्ग ऑन की जानिब फील्डर मौजूद, आगे की जानिब आए और गेंद को कैच करने में कामयाब हुए श्रेयस अय्यर। और एक और कामयाबी यहां पर बुमराह को, एक और कामयाबी यहां पर इंडिया को। ऑस्ट्रेलिया 165 रन पर अपनी एक और विकेट गंवाता हुआ।
एक है कितनों का बहाना, एक तुम है एक और कप चाय,
एक और कप चाय, टपाल दानेदार।
पैंथर टायर्स लेवल ही ओवर है।
आईसीसी वर्ल्ड कप फ्री में देखते जाओ कमाते जाओ, माइको लगाओ, डाउनलोड द ऐप नाउ।
एक और कीमती विकेट हासिल की पैट कमिंस खतरा साबित हो रहे थे, कोशिश कर रहे थे कहीं एक तो बाउंड्री लगाने में कामयाब भी रहे, लेकिन इस मरतबा बुमराह ने आउट किया। और तारीफ करनी होगी जिस तरह से आयर ने कैच किया, बड़ा शानदार कैच था और एक और विकेट हासिल की बुमराह ने। तो यूं ऑस्ट्रेलिया टीम वो कहते हैं कि क्लोज टू देयर इनिंग,
जहाँ बिल्कुल डगमगा गई है उनकी बैटिंग अगर कहा जाए, और उनकी कश्ती जो है वो बीच भंवर में हिचकोले खाती रही। जब जब लगता है कि ऑस्ट्रेलिया कुछ ऊपर आ रही है, कोई कुछ रन्स बना रहा है, कोई एक दो बाउंड्रीज लगी हैं, ठीक उस वक्त विकेट गिर जाती है। एडम जाम्पा जो कि लेग स्पिन बॉलर हैं, बॉलिंग में बैटिंग करने के लिए आए हैं। स्टार्क एक एंड पे अब भी मौजूद हैं, 165 पे 8 खिलाड़ी आउट हैं। और जस्ट टू फिनिश ऑन राहुल द्रविड़, जब उन्होंने अपना T20 मुकाबला खेला तो उसमें एक मौके पर लगातार 3 छक्के लगाए और एक तरह से ये साबित किया कि मैं 20 का भी अच्छा प्लेयर हूँ।
लेकिन शोएब अख्तर को अगर किसी ने परेशान किया है तो वो भी राहुल द्रविड़ ही थे।
कोई शुबा नहीं, इसमें बहुत ही उम्दा क्रिकेटर थे। बुमराह राइट आर्म ओवर द विकेट पहुंचे, गेंद की बड़ी अच्छी गेंद, बीट हुए एडम जाम्पा, विकेट कीपर के पास एक और डॉट बॉल।
राहुल द्रविड़ थ्रू आउट अपने कैरियर कोई कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं, बिल्कुल कूल, काम और रिस्पॉन्सिबल रहे टीम के लिए और बड़ी शानदार शख्सियत के मालिक हैं। यहाँ अगला बॉल जबरदस्त बॉल, थोड़ा सा अवे स्विंग हुआ और ये आप आज की अगर पिच देखें तो थ्रू आउट द इनिंग बॉलर्स के लिए हेल्प आउट रही है। तो कहीं ना कहीं अगर 200 के करीब